What's going on, everybody? It's Jonathan. So, when I go to Can Jams, I like listening to various IMs, especially the new ones, so I can get impressions and things like that. And those impression videos will be coming. What I'm going to do is condense all three Can Jams that I've heard this year. So, SoCal, New York, and Dallas. And I'm going to make three or four. Well, actually, I'm going to make multiple videos, but three or four impressions per video of everything that I've heard this year. So, those will be coming soon. But there's certain IMs that when I go to the Can Jams, I like listening to. And one of them is Aroma Audio's Fei Wan. I don't know what it is about the sound, it's just an IM that I've always liked. So the great thing is, I have one here. And that's exactly what we're going to be reviewing today, the Fei Wan. Special shout out to Music Clouds. He and I have become very good friends. Hung out with him. Where do we hang out? Dallas, him and his lovely wife, and he's let me borrow this to do a review on, which is very generous because A, it's not a cheap, cheap at all IM. It's a very expensive IM, but it's just nice of him to allow me to use it and keep it for a couple weeks just to be able to listen to it and really get to know it and see if it really does fit my sound signature. Let's find out if it does. So, the Aroma Audio Fei Wan. It lists on the Music Tech website for $4,688. It is comprised of 12 drivers, 2 being 9.2 millimeter dynamic drivers and 10 balanced armatures. So let's get to this unboxing. So here's the box. If you shall purchase the Fei Wan, that it'll come in. You slip this off. You open this up, and what's cool is it'll raise up to greet you. You've got this information, the information cards, telling you all about your purchase, telling you about the technology inside. You get this cool little medallion, and then inside here, and your puck, which is actually a pretty stylish and good looking puck. I'm not going to lie, I like it. But inside, you will find your Fei Wan. And they will, of course, be attached to the sparkle cable. Now, I like the way the Fei Wan looks. I think it's polarizing in a sense because it's yellow. But I feel like the faces are absolutely gorgeous. Got that beautiful sparkle to them. And then I love also the see-through that you can see the technology and how all of it works. So, again, your mileage may vary on your opinion of this, but I actually think it's a darn good looking IM. And I also feel like the sparkle cable, even though if you read a lot of the information online, people don't like the sparkle cable. With various sources, I felt that it sounded really pretty good with the Fei Wan. So that's the unboxing. Let's go to how they fit. So let's talk about fit. The Fei Wan is a very, very nice size IM. It's not large at all. Doesn't have any weirdness to it. So when it comes to fitting, it's a very comfortable IM. Just goes in, great. The sparkle cable that comes with it, I haven't had any microphonics issues. Doesn't become tangled. It's very malleable. It's a very nice cable. And pound for pound, very comfortable, very light, can keep in for a long, long time. So kudos on that. So let's talk about sound. What has drawn me back to the Fei Wan and what I really, really like about it are multiple things. But let's start with bass. I think the Fei Wan has some of the best bass you'll find in IM. It is just beautiful. Now, the sound signature to me is a U shape, but it also depends on what source you're using because it kind of can get W with certain sources. But when it comes to the bass, it's just, it's hard to describe. It's so good because it's detailed. The timbre's good. Just the rumble with the sub bass and the mid bass hits. It's just such good bass. When you're listening to things like, for example, Go Go Penguins, one of my favorite groups, the bass player, it sounds like a bass. It feels like a bass. You can feel it. It's just awesome, awesome bass. I really enjoy the bass on it. Palladino with Taigo Pass and things like that from Use of Days sounds amazing. Things like Billie Eilish, one fun track. Everybody always says Bad Guy, but I really like Bury a Friend. That's when it really, you hear the notes, you hear the tones, you hear everything. It's very clear. Going to the mids are very nice. The mids are very revealing. Um, Her voice, especially in Bury a Friend or anything with Billie Eilish or any voices, Yeba, I like listening to. They sound great. Instruments sound excellent on them. Piano, I like listening to Billy. It's not Billy, it's Bill Lawrence. Great album. Keep bringing it up, but with him, and now I can't remember his name, but it's his most recent album, and it's him and a guitar player, Michael Leake, and it's just awesome. The guitar sounds right. The bass from the guitar when he plays really, really low sounds natural. It's got a very nice natural sound to it. The piano sounds excellent. There's a lot of clarity there. Hear the dynamics. I love the mids on the Fay One. I think they sound great. The only issue that I have is, and I think that's what makes it special, it might be a little bit too bright for some people. If you are sensitive to treble, the treble might be a little bit hot for you. But that's one of the things I love about it. Now, I can be sensitive to treble. So sometimes, especially with, what was that? The Mest MK2 was a little spiky for me. This treble, though, is clear, it's beautiful. When I run into issues, it's something like on Polypheus Playing God, of course. Now, the rest of it sounds amazing, but sometimes it can get a little bit too hot. If I keep it at a normal volume, which we all should, but sometimes you just want to jam out, it can get me a little bit. What I do is I have the 3000T Stellan Kern DAP, and I also love listening to the Odin that way, but with the tube in the hybrid mode because it kind of brings back the treble a little bit. But again, I'm not knocking that because I actually think that's what kind of makes it special because it's airy, it's nice, it's extended. The cymbal plays. Manu Katchou, a French drummer, is just loves using the cymbals when he's playing this jazz band. It just sounds so beautiful. And on the Fay One, listening to that is spectacular. So when it comes to just pure awesome sound, I love the Fay One. It almost kind of reminds me of if it sits like the Odin's here, the Raven's here, and then it sits in the middle because it doesn't have like the explosive bass of the Raven, but it's dialed back a little bit. It has more than the Odin, but it still has very revealing mids, very sexy mids. Voices, they sound great. The emotion's there, the details there. But then when it comes to just sitting in the middle of those two, like if they had a baby, I really honestly feel like it'd be similar to the Fay One. So that's why the sounds that I like, which is weird because I like the Odin and the Raven because I feel like they complement each other. When I want something that's neutral bright, it's the Odin. Something that's more neutral when it comes to sound, especially listening to acoustic stuff, which I listen to a lot of, the Odin's really good. When I just want something that's like, it's the Raven because I just love the way it does the treble, love the way the bass is, I love the way the mid sound on the Raven, but it's just more in your face because it's a W tuning. So when I want something more laid back, it's the Odin. When I want something in my face, it's a Raven. And I feel like the Fay One fits like right in the middle of that, where it just kind of dances with both levels. And that's why probably the past two can jams I've been completely drawn to it and sat there and said, that would be a nice set to have with the three of them. Because I feel like each one kind of gives you something different, but it does it brilliantly. So that's how the Fay One sounds to me. I think it's a superb sounding. Like, it's a Hall of Famer. I think it's one of the best IEMs out there. So that's how it sounds to me. Now, is a Fay One a buy? I feel like if you want something that's a U-shaped IM, a great looking IM, a great sounding IM, an IM that you could be one and done with, the Fei Wan would be great for you. I know for close to $4,600, that's an expensive proposition. Some people's budgets don't meet that. And as you've seen on my channel, I show you all types of IMs that are great at all price ranges. But if you're the big baller shot caller and this is something that you'd be interested in, it's definitely something you should check out. I would put it on my Hall of Fame list. If you have any questions, comments, leave them down below, and I'll talk to you next time.